Hello and welcome back to another review with me, Kevin, from Kevin Grant on Whisky. It's a new bottle again, something I kind of wanted, but at the same time I was a bit, shouldn't pick up any new whisky, I've got too much sitting in the house. But I had a couple of drams in Edinburgh last week, I seen this, it was still there, and I thought, do you know what, I'm going to pick it up. So, as you can see, it's unopened. I'll get it open first so we can have a wee chat about it. Take this off, see what kind of pot we get. It's in like a cartoon one's good. So, as we can see, goodness gracious, as we can see, this is called the Golden Cask, independent bottler, something I hadn't really seen before. I was looking about a few weeks ago and looking for Ben Nevis, independent Ben Nevis, because core range Ben Nevis is great, but you can find some really cool, funky, different styles. And I found this, a single cask bourbon, matured, and I thought, oh, this is going to be right up my street. So this is a single malt, single cask. It's got the cask number on there as well, 177 bottles overall, and it's from the House of Macduff, who is the kind of the owners of the Golden Cask. So I just thought the Golden Cask was its own company, but the House of Macduff, these guys own it. So what I was able to kind of see and find out back in 1987, I think the House of Macduff took over from a Paisley company. And then what they done in those kind of 3 years up until like 1990 is they were just making whiskey gifts, like kind of the little fun gifts you get and things. And then about 1990 onwards, just after a few years, they started doing whiskey miniatures and started bottling for private investors. Yeah, and fast forward, I think it's about to 2013, somewhere about there, they started doing their own thing. So they've now got their own base in Renfrew, round about that neck of the woods, and are doing kind of these single cask bottlings, and what they're trying to do is give the best representation of that area. So Ben Nevis being the Highland, they're looking for something there. I don't know what they've got on Isle of Wight, and I think there was a Linkwood kicking about, but they're trying to find something which really does kind of compare to the style of whiskey from that region. And they found this Ben Nevis, 9 years old, 62.1% ABV, November 2012, and bottled in September 2022. So it's nearly 10, but just 9 years old at cask strength. Very light in colour, and full bourbon cask matured, which I really enjoy with Ben Nevis. That I've tried, that have been independent bottles, so I thought, okay, this has to be good. So as you can see, I've not tried this yet. You look at Ben Nevis itself, we look at that number of 1990. 1990 was when Nika got involved and they took over the Ben Nevis distillery, and they still have to this day. Still, you look at the 1990 for the House of Macduff, and 1990 changing hands to Nika kind of works quite well. Just I don't think it's meant to be that way. But Nika, what they have done with Ben Nevis, it's not been much, but there's been some great whiskey produced. As I say, if there's any whiskey from Ben Nevis from 1996, for some reason it just is absolutely blows my socks off. There's some year, and what I've still not been able to confirm is it something to do with their fermentation. They've changed their fermentation in that year, or they messed about with different fermentations, different styles, and that is why there's some really good 1996 Ben Nevis, and you have a look at auctions, it just goes through the roof. But I do keep checking. So this is definitely not 1996, we're quite far off that. But when I opened that bottle there and just I got a really nice, quick whiff of that whiskey. So I'm looking forward to it. So I think, less chat, we'll go into the box, the container, in a second as well. But I thought I'll get this in the nose first. We'll get it on the palate. I've got a wee bit of water here as well, because 62.1%, it's going to be strong, right? So let's see what we get. You can get the alcohol there, definitely. There's a kind of draws you back, but there's a real fudge, a wee bit of funk. That Ben Nevis funk's there, and it's like there's a citrus trying to come through from that funk. There's like a lemony lime wants to come through, but it is total fudgy dunnage. That kind of you don't want to say sweaty socks, right? But it's got a dunnagey note. If you ever go to Dunnage warehouses, I say it a lot, that you'll get this kind of smell, and it can be quite off. It's not sulphur, it is just that kind of dunnagey, wet, damp smell. But that super sweet fudgy note trying to come through with a big blast of citrus trying to get in the back of it as well. So I think that's me kind of starting to get acclimatised to my nostrils, or not getting taken back anymore with the alcohol burn. It's a little bit like, let's say sandy as well, maybe. You know, just maybe slightly salted. You can maybe like a salted caramel, but there's something there with that Dungeness. There's something weird going on in a good, really good way. I really enjoy that in the nose for its first pour. And let's try it on the palate. Let's see what this is going to do. Legs on it, just hardly moving because the ABV is that high. Slange everyone. Big, bold. You get the ABV in this for sure. There's a definite ABV hit. It's long lasting, it's tingling. Flavour wise, I've not got much there. It's my first time of the day, so I'm going to revisit it. I think my palate will be, the mouthfeel and the tongue will be ready for the high alcohol content again. Stays sweet. There's oak in there. There's that woody note to it now, and the kind of backdrop. The fudginess is staying there. It's drying. It's trying to dry. That little bit of dunnage comes through still, which is, it's mad. It's brilliant. What else is in there? It just feels like the citrus really wants to come through, but I think the sweetness and the kind of fudginess, that little bit of kind of sandy note that I was kind of getting to, maybe the wood as well, and the dunnagey note is keeping that down the bottom. And usually with kind of bourbon casks, my first notes are always that kind of clean, crisp, like lemons and limes and green apples, and I feel this is trying to come through, but it's just not able to. And that is Ben Nevis in a nutshell. Ben Nevis is quirky and different. It can be a little bit hot, it can be different, it can be quirky. It's great on the nose still. I'm going to add a wee bit of water now. Do you know what the smell is that's trying to come through? What I think is like a green grape. If you ever kind of just eaten kind of a few of the green grapes, it's like that. It's that kind of more sweeter, not clean, sharp citrus coming through. It's just a more sweeter kind of green grape. I think that's probably the best way to describe it. So a few drops of water in there. I've kind of put a few more than I usually do just because the ABV is a lot higher. That fudgy note just doesn't go away, it just wants to stay. Not much has changed in that at all. Maybe a little bit of violet in there. Parma violet. Yeah, a wee bit of Parma violet's coming through. So on here as well, it's saying that they don't chill filter, but they use a coarse filter which cleans cask debris and allows for a fuller flavour and greater texture. This bottle is one of the limited number, and its parents' cask has produced. No two casks are the same. We hope you'll enjoy drinking this special one-of-a-kind whisky responsibly. So we always drink responsibly on this channel anyway. I love that. I paid, I think it was £60, £59.99 I paid for this, and I'm very, very happy. There's that kind of eggy note coming through that dunnage. Honestly, this is, I wish I could just bottle this up for everyone and let you all try it. 9-year-old, 62.1%, non-chill filtered, natural colour, cask number CM295, bottle 67 of 177, 9-year-old, single cask, Ben Nevis. It's a massive yes from me. That's been brilliant. It's been a great kind of, I'm glad I've got it now, because I think if I tried this or someone else had tried it and said how good it was, I'd have been frustrated missing out on it. So I'm very pleased that I've got this, and I think this will get better as well. That's been a good first pour. But I'm going to go and sit back and enjoy this. Since the ABV is quite high, I'll sit and take my time with it as well, and try and see if I can learn a wee bit more and see what else they've got going from the golden cask. But this has been brilliant. I like the bottle, I like the design. There's kind of quirky wee things on the back as well, and I'm not too sure if that's about Ben Nevis, but I think it is. Yeah, everything ticks boxes for me. I love it. I'll buy it again if I can see it at a good price, or I'll wait for maybe the next release that they do. But thanks everyone for tuning in, and thanks everyone who's been commenting. I've been trying to get back to kind of replying to people the last few days, just trying to find a little bit of time. It's always difficult, but as I say, I always do see comments. I always see people subscribing and just loving the channel, and just, I really appreciate it, and I can't say much more about it. It's just, thank you so much. I will do a live again. I do plan on doing it. I was going to do one yesterday on Thursday, but I think I'll struggle unless something changes. I might have done it, so if I do one, just forget that. But I'll sit back, I'll go and enjoy the rest of this, and I'll go and enjoy the rest of my day. But again, I've been Kevin from Kevin Grant on Whisky. Join me next week. Let's talk whisky. Sludge.